Okay, we're at the Noah Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
It makes me think I'm reading Willy Wonka again or something. But anyway, we're gonna go inside and sample and maybe make a purchase if we like what we see. Anyway, I think
like
this
what
is
we taste.
Yeah. So this should be something nice and unique. But yeah, check out their website. I'm sure it's something like chocolatefactory.com or something. We'll post the details right down here.
Yeah, we went to I was just there a few years ago. We went to this really good burger joint, but I don't remember the name of it. But we had a great time.
Okay, here we go.
That we like.
Go back
By
home.
my own words. That one that was by my old work.
Oh, Blake Slaughterburger?
No. The one that we go with.
Oh, the best burger.
No.
So what do you think? All right, making progress. You know, Mike was running the little mini hammer earlier with a couple flat chisels, and the whoever installed these did kind of a real quick half-ass job. So that's good news because it made it real easy for us to take this stuff out. I mean, in about 30 minutes or so of hammering away, Mike was able to get probably a third of the tile removed. So just to give you a perspective, I'll go on the other side and show you without making anyone sick, I hope, or dizzy. See what we got left to do. Basically along this entryway here to the step down to the family room. Got to keep chiseling along here. Some of these have already been chewed apart a little bit, but that's okay. Because as you take the hammer around to different tiles, it does so much vibrating, you can hear and feel those loose, low tones of it just vibrating into the concrete below and the other surrounding tiles, that it loosens things even more. And then even if you don't take a given tile out, maybe you're coming from here, having with the vibrations loosening things, you come back and you can hit it again, that really tough tile, and it sometimes will just start popping out for you. So we got things kind of pre-cut with the wet saw. Like along here, you can kind of see a little cut line I did down there. Because our challenge is, we also continued along here the cut line so that as we hammer these out, the tiles underneath won't shatter into the little tiny pieces and crumble away on us, but instead still retain their structure underneath the cabinet here. Because we ran into trouble trying to remove this cabinet. We really would have liked to have just taken it completely off the wall system and flooring system and pulled it out and just hammered everything away underneath it. But that just didn't seem very practical as we were looking at how they secured it to the concrete below. The concrete. Doing good? All right. Some of the stuff is coming up so fast. It's amazing what a crappy job the prior owner did. Tile's barely on there. Coming out in such big pieces. This is sweet. We'll have the fridge Fridge moved out of there pretty soon and be diving into the kitchen before you know it. Wow. All right. Now we got the fridge out of the way. Now I was gonna do a quick cut through here to have a line with a little wet saw. Wait a minute, now say hi.
Hi.
So here we are, done. Judy even got her little chance to play with the mini hammer and take some tiles up. But this is what the finished job is for demo work. We've got it all removed in this area. Got the fridge and stove, of course, moved out of the way. And all the kitchen tile taken out. Some messy but effective cuts that should be able to allow us to get the new tile underneath the toe kicks of the cabinets pretty easily. So it should look like a real good, clear, crisp, clean job when we're done. But that's for another day. Now it's time for beer and pizza to celebrate. Aloha.
Okay.
It's right where the edge of that line is. You see it?
Definitely stagnating and I want to make it look nicer.
No, the tile. Just,
The
you
edge.
just do it, yeah, like. You're in there.
No, don't mark the thing, it's the blue tape still.
Just,
That's
yeah.
good to get.
Can you
Let's
just
do
put
that.
it on that line? Like, just put a line on the floor like you did right there?
Oh,
Like, on the floor, so you can see it? Yeah, like see where the edge is supposed to go?
okay.
And then
And
the
the
edge of the
other-
tile will just go right there.
I want to do the other side too. If we're going both directions and that way first,
Right.
then we'll start this way.
It's right there.
And where this will look a little wacky is, of course, when you come to the wall, you'll have 2-inch and 10-inch pieces, hopefully on both walls, or 4 and 6-inch pieces, or well, 4 and 12-inch pieces. Coming. And we'll try to put the tile right back there where the laser is. Okay, that's about what the mark was. Let's get a little more. A little thin there. There. Okay, that'll good when you get it. Put it right up, touching that guy.
Here?
Right up to the corner, inside corner there. Yep. There and down. I think we can put a lot of pressure on it. Now let's see how it lines up.
Is that all right?
Yeah,
Is
let's,
that the laser's over?
yeah. It goes over. You got 1/4 of an inch. Oops. A little more of that one on the tile. A little more until it's touching the laser. There we go. Line it with the laser. A little more. Okay. The other direction. Yep. We got a good start. Okay.
All right, let's keep going before the stuff dries.
You
Okay,
wanna do it
let's
next?
try the next one this way. And hopefully not long after, it's just the next one. But in fact, I should get the bucket downstream here. That'll be easier, and then you can just work the tiles and spacing. You got a little handful of spacers there. So. In the hole here, if something drives in, you just take a little standard screwdriver, you can snap it out.
Alright, should we read the text number?
Yeah, I have the thing. So, and it's 6 inches. Does you see that line? Here, you cut 2 lines. Which one is it?
The line posts this way.
Okay.
And-
Got the space?
Yep, I got the space. Hold on. Okay.
Another one there.
You can push it tighter because it's still pretty loose. Okay, no, they're just silicone.
Oh, shit, I didn't put enough over.
Okay, you got the first 2 tiles and,
Oh, okay, they're all.
Yeah, they're going to pop in underneath.
uh-oh, yeah,
All
dear.
of it. You keep scrubbing. I think you need more up here too.
Like correction, I guess we don't have the 2 tiles in yet. Need more mortar. If not, the tile rocks and it'll break. Come loose.
He's closer, a lot closer. There you go.
That look.
Okay, we want to keep the laser about the same on that tile. It's a little wider down there. I think we have a little,
Yeah, you
Push
got-
that all the way
push it
down.
over here. Yep,
and
There we
keep
go.
it looser.
yep, there we go.
This is so straight.
That's good.
Now, do you need to put the level on top to make sure it's level?
Yeah.
Or does that
we will.
matter? Okay.
We find the levels. There's another. if this is
Okay, he's
big
got the
enough,
level.
then
He's gonna see if it's level. Gotta
No,
make
you
sure
want that
floors are
on there,
level.
On the other side, Mike, so we can do the other off center.
Is it level? Oh. Can I get a picture of that, baby?
Yeah, it's not so much the bubble being level, it's more of the, there's any gaps here, along here.
Okay.
You know, you can see they're nice and flush, it feels like, as I test it in different directions and places here. We got a little there. That's not bad. course, make sure you got a good plate on it. Nice purchase. It's worn out a little bit now, but it's still good. You're dealing with some tiles. Almost, I'm sure all the tile saws, unless they're a dry saw, come with a little tray here for holding some water. And so we gotta go fill that up before we start cutting. And make sure everything's good. Yep. So, just take your hose, put some water in it. My goal is to get like a good inch in that tray. So your saw, of course, may differ. But anyway,
Wait a minute. Go.
most of these tile saws come with some kind of straight edge. Mine had some kind of clamp here, but it seemed to have gotten lost or whatever over the years. But you can use it as a nice little guide here. And take some little C-clamps or something like that and clamp it down and use it as your guide for measuring your cuts. But since I have an unusual use because drains are not under pressure, it's just water running, unlike supply lines. So let me show you the other side real quick. So on the front side, I punched on through, and as we were running water, I could actually see it leaking from the back side. But from the front side, as we tore in, we finally found there's this little hole here, and it was just kind of gushing out a bit. So what I'm going to do to repair it is try to get some of that epoxy, the waterproof kind, and that hardens like steel, so it should adhere pretty well, I hope, to this copper drain pipe, which I've never seen a copper drain pipe before. In a house for this era, I didn't even think they did copper back in the early 1960s. I thought everything was going to be steel pipes. But interesting surprises. So anyway, it looks like someone damaged it while working on it, and they never discovered their damage in the past, and it's probably been a leak like this for a long time. Anyway, we'll get that sealed up, get down to the hardware store and get the epoxy, and hope that does the trick. So here I took a scrap piece of sheetrock we had that was just big enough to cover this, and went ahead and got that screwed down in place. You can use these great little brackets that go behind the sheetrock, and then you screw one in into the existing sheetrock facing, and then when you put your scrap piece in, or even replacing the piece you had there originally that you cut out, you can screw it into the other side of the where the hole for the scrap piece is, and then you can get these tightened down real good, and then put some mud on it and a little texture, and that's where we're at right now. So I'm going to go ahead and paint, but gives you an idea of how you kind of do a little repair here for a big piece of sheetrock. You got to cut a big hole. And I should note that these little brackets, you can't find them at Home Depot and Lowe's. I wish you could at the big box stores or whatever, but I managed to find a big box with a few hundred of these for, I don't know, 10 or 20 bucks back some years back, and it was at a sheetrock supply store in an industrial area. That's just where you got to find these kind of specialty things, as the big box stores just don't carry them. And here's the same section of the wall after the final repair and the painting and all that. So just a little work putting the sheetrock piece back in, little sheetrock mud after it dries, a little texture, a little sanding, then texture, then finally the paint, and you have a nicely repaired wall. I don't get so height difference, it really becomes a bitch to work with.
Right. So here we are, and Thane's trying to get where the appliances go. He's grouting that. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. So he just mixed up a little bit because it dries really fast in this climate. Yesterday when we mixed up the grout, I mean, it dried fast. I even tried to, keep it moist by putting a towel over it and a plastic bag over it, and that didn't even work. I had to kind of take a big screwdriver and just kind of chisel it out so we could use the bucket again. It was pretty crazy. So here he is. He's just kind of getting the goop in the crevice, and then sliding the dill along. See if I can get a closer one up. See what he's doing. And then you see it has a sponge, so I suppose he just waits a little while, and then he'll wipe it off. Do you know how long you wait, Thing?
A few minutes.
Oh, a couple minutes? Okay.
Done with the rest of this, and I'll start wiping it a little bit.
Okay.
Just try to get it set up first so we can hopefully later in the day have the appliances
Right.
put back.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Wow, these look so much, it's different when you have the grout on there. Pretty awesome.
Hoping this will be enough to do these 3 areas for the appliances.
Should be.
I didn't want to mix up. Want to make sure I mixed up enough, but not so much that I had a bunch of excess that might get lost or that I'd have to.
Okay, so we did it. We got the floor done. It was group effort, and man, you know, getting the grout and the crevice is nothing, but making sure that haze is gone, and you have to keep wiping, keep wiping, keep wiping. And the kids wanted to go home like at 9 o'clock, and there was all this haze, and I'm like, you can't do that because it'll be a haze to it, and you'll have a nasty floor. And so everybody's busting butt trying to get it all, taking turns. Oh my gosh! But we only got 2 sponges. So my advice, if you're gonna do this and you have more than 2 people that are doing this, get that many. Like if you have 4 people, get 4, so everybody can just bust butt and get that haze off. So that's my advice.
Anyway, we'll show you real quick the final product here. All the way across the living room. We're kind of standing in the dining room.
Yeah.
And of course over into the kitchen.
Yeah.
Got some of the appliances back in, but we're on to the granite phase next and trying to get the granite in here and get it cut and placed on the countertops.
Yeah.
And that impacts placement of the appliances too, as we can't really hook them up with all the stuff we're going to be doing here. So hopefully on a future episode you can see the install of the granite.
Yeah.
Aloha!
Aloha!
Thank you for watching an episode of Nature Preserve Life in Mountain Air, New Mexico. If you'd like to follow along and support our channel, please press the subscribe button and gong that bell to be notified. After all, it's free. Free is a very good price. In the future, we will plan to focus our episodes on our eco-friendly build of earthen construction and dark night astronomy, that big guy there, and tourism of the regional area, as well as establishing a Patreon account for the sole support of wildlife in Deer Canyon Preserve. So stay tuned. Cheers.